If you trade the strategy I'm going to teach you in this video, you'll find it a lot easier to wait for your spot, pick the right direction of trend, and get in when the iron is hot, and have full confidence that you're reading the market with the highest probability setup, right? So let's hop right into it with this VWAP strategy, making almost $1,000 across my 2 accounts with Tradeify. So first things first, just remind everybody, all the trades I'm with right now are on Tradeify. And if you use code Evan, you actually get 30% off all of their accounts. So if you need an account, make sure you go down below and use code Evan. So on the trading side of things, 3 for 4. I had a losing trade. We'll go over that as well. But the rest were all winners that I want to go over here on TradingView because there's a lot of notes, a lot of markups. But once you understand this strategy, as well as the statistics and probabilities I'm going to show you here, you'll understand why I need this many drawings, just to paint it out simply for you guys here. So this is on NQ. We can look at the choppy open. It leads to a nice drop. So now this first yellow circle is going to be our break of initial balance low, right? That's these red lines here, the first hour of our New York session. Being that we took out the low, that immediately makes me want to go to edge full, which is going to show me the likelihood that we would double break, single break. So if we go to edge full here, on the initial balance, you can see based off of the size of it, today's size was 1.55%. A lot of volatility that in the past year, so I have it filtered to the year, not the 6 months, out of 71 initial balances of this size, only 5 of them have they broken out of the bottom and the top all within the same day. So 7% of the time, it would double break. 80% of the time, it was just going to break one side and only break one side. So with that in mind, there's only a 7% chance, right, reading that stat, that we break the bottom as well as the top in this yellow circle, anywhere up here on this initial balance high. Not very likely. 7% or 5 out of the last 71. So the higher and higher it gets, actually, the more I like it for shorts back down because I can get a great price. So you can see my first short attempt here. Yes, it's a little bit above New York VWAP, but I really like the way ES was already dropping back below its New York, right? So using both assets to my advantage. Maybe got in a little bit early there, that drawdown, that once it got to break even, ES was struggling to stay below its New York VWAP, which I didn't love because that was kind of the reason that I got in on NQ above the New York VWAP. So thankfully, you can see here by these blue arrows, I got out right at break even. Saying, I don't really love this trade anymore. It's giving me a chance to get out break even. Let me take it while I have the chance. I could always get right back in. But I had my stop loss at previous structure up here, which you can see would have just gotten tapped out just barely as it retests yesterday's New York VWAP, which it creates the lower high off of in the morning, which is why we like the shorts. It rejects off of it again. So ideally, whether I was in this trade or not, this would be the best setup, to short it off the previous New York VWAP with a stop at that initial balance high, at that level that has a 7% chance of getting hit, right? Because then you have the true invalidation level. So I really like that stop loss, and that price would have been beautiful. But that's all right. Break even, no harm, no foul. But then once I see it break or retest this yesterday's New York and hold and get back below New York again, I'm pretty much just getting in right where I did over here. But now I've avoided that drawdown, hoping that this is the time I'm ready to move lower because we've now seen this full pullback to the key VWAP. So I'm not giving up on the short bias because remember, 7% chance it comes all the way up here to double break it. Not very likely. So I'm going to follow those stats and follow those probabilities to the downside when it tells me sellers are back in. And we get a nice little pop for a lower day VWAP break. And we trade that to get a nice 1R winner out of that move. But I don't necessarily think the move is done. I just don't want to hold on to this all day. So we'll get rid of that trade. We got out of it. It then pulls back to the New York VWAP again and retests underneath same lower day VWAP that we set back here, right? So sellers are still maintaining control. We pin above and we hold this initial or opening range low again. So all of these key levels. Let me get back in short again because we probably don't want to go much higher. So I scalp that back down as well for a nice little 1R winner as well. I think that this third one, just structurally, if you open up the 15-minute here, probably looks the best in terms of the short idea because now you can see our daily view up in black and the previous yesterday's New York view up here in blue, which is there's the New York open rejection and the later afternoon one, really, really clean. Still making these lower highs, so really, really clean there. But at the time of my first short, we're above the daily. I think the second short as well, right? It's right here, actually. So these two shorts are above the daily view up, where you can see this third short I have. I'm selling it down here. Now below the daily view up, below the low of day view up. So just more view up alignment, and the structure looked ready to go make that lower low. So same idea of just playing the shorts as the stats say we probably don't want to come all the way back up here. So we'll see what this afternoon wants to do. If it wants to rally in these last 2 hours, 7% likelihood. So could we be retesting the daily view up to fall back down? I don't know about all the way back down. Maybe it could just fizzle on out and end the day here. Or if we do shoot higher, That would be super, super interesting that I can make money following that statistic and still riding the structure lower because we're still making the lower highs. I like watching it on the 2 minute. If I just clear all this off, let's get rid of all the drawings. And if you just turn off the opening range as well, off the opening range and no initial bounce. Let's just look at candlesticks and the New York VWAP. All day today, still just making lower highs and lower lows. So could we go get the next lower low? That'd be beautiful. But I think regardless, you can't be looking for shorts. We spent maybe 20, 30 minutes above New York VWAP. The rest has all been underneath. Sellers are in control. Don't get induced into the longs back above New York VWAP when there's a 7% chance it wants to go higher here. So really, really clean there. And then this is the first trade that we took on AceFX TV this morning, where it's the same idea. If you've seen Futures 2.0, which I hope you have, that's this setup right here. If you go to AceFX TV, if you're not a member, you can actually use, again, my code EVAN to get 50% off your first month. Or you could just start a free trial and then use my code to get 50% off. But this is where the two courses are, as well as you get access to the daily live streams where, again, we take these trades. Austin took his payout today. We both took the shorts yesterday. So if you missed the live stream, you could check out the replay of the trades we took, why we took it, why we didn't take this, how we managed it, all that good stuff. But the strategies that we're trading are taught here in Futures 2.0. And if you've seen it, anyone that has seen it, this trade's going to look super familiar. We're not chasing the first break outside open range low here. Let it pull back, see if buyers want to take control at the New York VWAP, right? Because then I don't want to be short. Or sellers going to defend it. Well, sellers defend it nicely, and now we're getting outside the open range low. Now a second time. Same price as I potentially wanted the first time. Just those first breaks don't often really run very far. So this is the price that pays. But the timing, this one is ready to go. This one's not really. So if you've seen the course, hopefully you have, or once you do finish watching it, you'll understand the clear short bias here in the direction of trend, looking to get that next push into the bearish trend, and we get a nice winner. So I think that was like $500, and then the rest of the trades were like $600 combined with those 2 or 3 shorts I showed you guys here. So super, super clean. But against everything I just said, the initial balance stat, we're still moving lower. Let's go to ES. If you go to ES here, what are those arrows? I longed it. Why am I longing it? It has pretty much the same stats. It's slightly different. If you measure here on ES, I could turn on the initial balance. So 3 out of the last 23, so 13% of the time, initial balances here on ES would double break, which doesn't really, it's not high probability. So again, we broke out the bottom. There's only a 13% chance we would come all the way back up here. So I really don't know why I longed it here at a terrible price. That was really the same thing. NQ building the next lower high to come back in the trend. So thankfully I quickly cut that because I just didn't love the way it was making these higher highs and higher lows above New York. So I got in long. But then I'm fading that stat. I can't be doing that. So I quickly get out and then thankfully take the shorts on NQ. So silly trade there because I just talked myself into it with the way the 15-minute was lining up. Just because at that time we had these double bottom down here. If I just rewind it. At that time we had double bottom here at the pre-market lows. Okay, well, maybe we'll bounce from here. We're getting back above the daily VWAP. Maybe we do go higher. But I'm fighting that stat. And we're still underneath yesterday's New York VWAP. We're still falling lower highs still. So silly long. Definitely follow the shorts today and lean into these probabilities that I showed you here in this video. I think that's just the easiest way to trade it today or any day. But hopefully you guys found value in it. Hopefully you guys are using Edgefill because I think like at a day like today specifically, 7% chance. That's about as strong as it gets. And then if you're not on the streams already, we took these trades live. Not these these afternoon shorts, but this first one I showed you here was taken on stream this morning. Austin took it on ES, took his payout. I take it on NQ, and hopefully I'm soon at the payout as well. So hopefully you guys found value in it. Definitely tune into the streams and watch the courses so you can understand this strategy where once you know the stats and the strategy, you can find your best way in using the VWAP of the New York VWAP, a low of day VWAP, all those good things, all right? So hopefully you guys found value in it. Ask me any questions in the comments. Always feel free to DM me or tune into the chat and ask questions. But hope you guys made money today. Trade safe, and I'll see you guys on the charts tomorrow morning.